Okay, muchas gracias. Thank you, everybody. We're about to start the third session to wrap up our symposium today, Taino, a symposium in conversation with the movement. This third session is called Looking Forward, a shared vision for the Taino movement. And today we have trailblazing researcher of Cuban indigeneity, Jose Barreiro, Assistant Director for History and Culture Emeritus at the National Museum of the American Indian, and emerging scholar of contemporary Taino identities and cultures, Cristina M. Gonzalez, a PhD candidate at the University of Texas, Austin. They will co-moderate a conversation with established and emerging women leaders from the Taino Indigenous Caribbean movement. We have Tai Peli from the United Confederation of Taino Peoples, Marilyn Balanani Diaz from Guatumacu Aboriquén, Concilio Taino Guatumacu Aboriquén. I should have said that slower for our interpreter, Concilio Taino Guatumacu Aboriquén. And educator, author, and performer Peggy Robles Alvarado. They'll be discussing questions like, where is this Native heritage movement going? What solutions might Native knowledge offer to the broader Caribbean, especially in the wake of natural disasters like Hurricane Maria? And I'll remind our panelists to not do like I did, which was speak really quickly, but to speak kind of slowly so that our ASL interpreters have plenty of time to understand everything that you're saying and interpret it for the audience. I'll also remind you that if you have your cell phones, ya bien algunos que no escucharon la última vez, turn them off or silence them, please. Do tweet, take photos, share on social media. You can use the hashtag Taino, but go ahead and silence those cell phones. Also, you know, we've got people that'll be coming in a little late. We don't want them to crawl over you, so if you would be so kind to scrunch together, that would make things really swell. That said, ahora me callo. I'm going to pass the microphone to Cristina Gonzalez and Jose Barreiro, our moderators for today's program. So please, folks, let's welcome all our moderators and participants.
Buenas tardes. I think I'll speak in English, probably easier for translation. We started this morning with a lot of passion. That first panel was really, truly amazing. It justified everything we've done for the last 40 years, just to see that panel. Wonderful. And we started with spiritual feeling, but we were remiss in not starting with a true prayer. I had a chance early in the morning to put a little tobacco up for us to clear our minds and clear our hearts for this very important work that we're doing. And I'd like you, if you could put your minds together and let's give thanks for this Mother Earth and this Father Sky and these four directions that bring us together and from which we emanate. Our ancestors that are with us today, I think they've been coming in through the day, they hear themselves. They like to be remembered. They like to hear about themselves. They like to know that we remember something about them. And when we do that, they can listen. They come out of their places where they're fine. They don't have to be looking out after us all the time. But when we call them more and more, we see them in dreams, we see them in ceremony, they appear in prayer, they appear between mother and daughter and father and son. So we want to at least put our minds together for a second. And I know it's against the rules, but I'm going to make just a little bit of tobacco smoke. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
We're not gonna make much. The ancestors, they don't need a whole big fogata, you know. They're just a little bit. So please put your minds together and say Ahom for our existence. Ahom. Ahom. Thank you. We talked a little bit about the past this morning. Again, it was a fantastic expression of everything we are. They said that the Taíno were a weak and timid people, but that's not what we've shown here. That's not what we've shown in the last 40 years. There's a wonderful Taíno that was born in India by the name of Gandhi. And he said something very important about his own movement that I think applies to ours. He said, first, they ignore you. Then, they ridicule you. Then, they get angry with you. Then we win. I think when they got angry, we figured out that we could beat them. I'm happy to express a couple of words from my own cacique, Panchito, who is not a cacique mandón. He's not a bossy cacique. He says it himself. He's a cacique because the people love him. And because he knows where every water hole is, he knows where things grow, he knows every herb of over 200 medicines that grows in the woods around his home. And that's why he's cacique, because he can give good advice and help the people. That's what a cacique really is. And he said, thank you for everything the Puerto Ricans are doing, he said, and everything the Dominican Republic people are doing. And tell them that even though we are far in distance, in our hearts, we're the same. We're united. That's the old man from the hills around Guantanamo, Cuba. Panchito, who has 10,000 people in his trunk family, in a community that is a historically continuous community that comes out of the encomienda of Diego Velázquez in the 1550s, 1540s, and turns into Pueblo de Indio, El Caney, Iguaní, Guanabacoa, Terraco, many places that were little pueblecitos that got set up. And then the main one in El Caney that didn't lose his Indian jurisdiction, not just Indian farms, an Indian jurisdiction until 1850, when the Spanish courts declared extinction. Said they no longer exist, thus they don't have the right to collective land. That's why extinction occurred right from the beginning, the denial of culture, the denial of identity, the denial of what we are from the inside, So I'm really proud of my Taínos, man. I am so proud of my Taínos.
Yeah.
I love my Taínos. We're Cubanos, we're Boricuas, but we're rooted in the land. And in each of our countries, yeah, we may have ecologists and anthropologists and archaeologists and so forth, but we're rooted in the land. And that's what we're trying to tell our people. We're not against anybody, just rooted, because in this day and age, what's going to save you, and you Puerto Ricans that went through Maria, you know, the Cubans that went through the fall of the Soviet Union when the farms, all those big industrial farms went belly up from one month to the next. What saved the country? Yuca, ñame, malanga, corn, beans, medicine, all the green medicines. I traveled Cuba in '95. If I saw 20 cars moving in the whole country, it was too many. It's incredible what rock bottom the country hit and what saved it. The sense of community. The Cubans have a strong sense of community. They complain more than any people in the world, but they have a strong sense of community. Nobody killed each other over a loaf of bread when people were near starving, and nobody starved. And within 5 years, the food production was enough. Within 2 or 3 years, the food production was enough. It's never enough fully, and there's a lot of need, but people found out that in times of need, those saberes, los valores y saberes del pueblo, the people perhaps were even more revolutionary than their own government. They knew how to be revolutionary. They knew how to survive, and they did. And their independence didn't fall. And sovereignty of Cuba resides in Cuba. Just like the sovereignty of Puerto Rico resides in Puerto Rico, in Borinquen. And the sovereignty of Quisqueya resides there. And we have to do more to connect, not just the political ideas, not just the flags, not just the escudos, but our relationship in the land. I hope we turn increasingly in this kind of movement, powerful, like the wind, identity is of itself. Once you grab that identity, you die for it. Nobody can take it away from you. It's within you. It's not something in a book. It's not a certificate. It's not even a DNA trail. It's in you. And now we're seeing that there's many of us, and increasingly so, and many are coming our way. And I hope our movement never becomes one of rejection, even though we've had some of that. But it becomes increasingly of inclusion. And we don't reject academic work. We discern it. Get smart. We don't say, oh, books, that's written by the Spanish back then. There's a lot of valuable information there if we know how to discern it. So we're not strong just by rejection of each other or of the other peoples that surround us in our countries. We're strong by discernment, by being smart, by knowing the difference between what's good for us and what's not, by being open-minded. Some of us come at it from education. Some of us come at it from medicine. Some of us come at it from genetic science. Some of us form communities. Some of us within those communities have a particular religion or a particular way of belief that we want to reconnect. It's all good. One is not in contradiction to the other. We have 500 years of colonialism to untap. There's a lot of confusion in that. As we do it, we're going to get smarter because there's a reason for what we're doing. And in our countries in the Caribbean, many people have forgotten where they live. Many people have forgotten their real roots. And it's our movement that's connecting that. It's not going to be a little environmental movement because it's not about just science of environment. It's about the heart. It's about loving Mother Earth. And that was the first sentiment that the colonialists severed. Destroy the native religion, destroy the spirituality of the earth. They'll be easily manipulated. Easily manipulated. Make them believe in something that just goes like that, up, and forget what's down. Male, female, everything is in that. So I won't extend myself as I promised. So I wanted to say that much. And I wanted to just ask you to start with just throwing out a couple of questions for the panel. And at least an orientation. We have questions, but an orientation. Back to Sitting Bull, the Tanka Yotanka. How can we put our minds together to make a life for our children? Our children are watching our behavior. They're watching our respect. They're watching our disrespect. Are we going to be people of respect? That's what we're asking. Have fun, humor, laugh, enjoy, but respect. We're going to come together. All these strands, all these different ways. This is what's happening right here. All these strands, we're going to come together. It may take another 40 years. I hope so. I hope we'll emerge a leader. I'm sick of single leaders. Big men talking to 1 million people. I love the circle. The circle. You know, we can all see each other's faces. Well, when we throw in the fire, it gets considered from no matter who says it. And the truth emerges out of that fire. That's where we have to go. To let it be. Not push to be the big leader, the big this, the big that. My way or no way. My way. I'm the only Taino. We're more Taino than you. We've seen that. We've seen that not only among Taino. Every native movement in the world goes through the same conniptions. Who's who? Who's what? What's this? What's more traditional? What's this? What's that? Those are understandable confusions. But I've seen it over 40 years, how those confusions begin to fall away. And we're guided and we move ourselves toward clarity. And then we become human. And then we win. Thank you. I want to ask my colleague and co-coordinator of this panel to introduce herself and get us going.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jose. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Cristina Gonzalez. And I've had the privilege and pleasure of being part of the research and curatorial team, for the Taino exhibition. I'm here at NMAI, and I also have the great honor of being here with Dr. Arreiro and all of these wonderful women leaders in the contemporary Taino world to muse on this idea of Taino futurity. Taino futures is something I'm very much interested and invested in, both personally and professionally. Besides being Boricua of Indio descent, I'm a doctoral candidate in sociocultural anthropology at the University of Texas at Austin, and I'm currently living here in New York City, where I was born and raised, doing my PhD work. My work basically looks at what constitutes contemporary Taino subjectivities or identities, and the ways of belonging. I look at how cultural survival, as well as reconstruction and renewal and rebuilding work together to cultivate and establish Taino peoplehood in the 21st century. And I see my work as contributing to an emerging and needed current and Caribbean studies scholarship that takes indigeneity seriously, and that does so respectfully and with care, as well as systematically and with rigor, and largely from a colonizing framework. If you haven't already noticed, I am also a person who stutters, and I'm proud of it. So the words are going to come out. It might take some time, but your patience is kindly requested and appreciated. I also wanted to quickly acknowledge the ancestors in this building in the form of the objects that are held and cared for by the institution. These ancestors that represent indigenous communities, indigenous stories, and indigenous life from throughout Turtle Island, Abayala, including the lands of Taino and Native Caribbeans. So, Jose and I are going, actually, there's a change to our schedule. You'll notice that Nasha Olguin is up there, but she's not here, and we're very unfortunate to have Peggy Robles Alvarado here, as well as Balanani, Marilyn Diaz, and Taipeli. So Jose and I were going to read their bios, but I think we're going to go right into asking them to offer a greeting to the audience and introduce themselves in a brief way. They're what communities they come from.